This is adding and subtracting, which we've done already. And they've been actually making you do what we're going to do for tomorrow a lot lately. They just never really told you. They described the steps and had you kind of do it. Okay, but the deal is here, adding and subtract fractions that have different denominators. Okay, in other words, if you have, here's an example problem. If you have 1/2 plus 1/4. Okay. If you have 1/2 plus 1/4, and like we talked about before, this is not multiplication, so you should kind of cringe because it takes a little work to put these together. Okay, you don't just add or subtract across. Okay, the first thing you have to do is write it up and down. Very good. We've got some people who are mathematical wizards out there. Right, up, and down. So you end up with 1/2 plus 1/4. Like I said, the book has had you do this before. They just didn't really tell you that's what you were doing. Okay? Because the book would tell you to do this second step here. In order to add those fractions together, you need to make the denominators the same. Okay? And you do that by finding the least common multiple of the denominator. In other words, here's what it needs to look like. You've got your two fractions here. You need to change those two fractions into fractions that have the same bottom number. Okay, they're 2 and 4 are your denominators now. You need to make new fractions that have the same denominator, but they're equal to the ones you started with. So here's the toughest part. You have to think about the number 2 and 4 and think, what number do both 2 and 4 go into? What's the least common multiple of those two numbers? Sammy?
2.
No, 4 doesn't go into 2. That's the problem. You found the greatest common factor. I want the least common multiple, Christine, which is
4.
Which is 4. Now, if you were thinking 8, 8 is a common multiple, but it's not the smallest one, and we do want to do the smallest one. You could do 8, but it just means you got to do some more work in the end to reduce it back to where it comes from. So you'll remember in the book, they would say write 1/2 and 1/4, so they both have a denominator of 4. That's what the book would tell you. Now, here's what you need to do with that. You need to go, okay, to make an equal fraction, 4 times what is 4? 1, so I multiply the top by 1, which doesn't change it. But 2 times what is 4? 2, so I need to multiply the top by 2. And it is important that at least for the end of this year and the start of next year, I see this on your paper. If I don't see this on your paper, ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching on the big screen, you will be doing the poetry sentences. I need to see these lines saying what you multiplied by to get your equal fractions. No, starting right now. And after a while, I say you don't have to do it because after a while it becomes second nature. You shouldn't have to after a while, but for right now, until I know that all of you know what's going on, I do need to see it. Then once you get your equal fractions, now it's just like adding 2/4 plus 1/4. What do? You add the tops. And remember, you don't add the 2 4s together, you just keep the same bottom number. Keep the same denominators. So if I have 2 4s and I have one more 1/4, I end up with 3 4s. And then as always, step number 4 is to do what we call simplify. And when you simplify, that just means reduce the fractions if you can. Or change to a mixed number if it's improper. Alright, questions there, Jacob?
So for 1/2, wouldn't it be it would be easier to just like change it to 2 4s because you already know.
I did change it to 2 4s.
I know, but you already know it would be 2 4s because it's 1/2.
So are you saying that you shouldn't have to show this?
No, you should, but I'm just saying.
Sure, whatever Jacob's just saying, people, Jacob's just saying it. Yes, Christine?
What's the word after top?
Keep the tops. and keep the same bottom numbers. Mason,
But, what happens if both of them are the same? Like,
then you don't have to change them equal fractions, you could just add them right here. If the
Yeah.
bottoms were already the same, you don't have to make equal fractions, you just add them like normal. Is that what you're asking? Mason?
what's the difference between that and,
The difference between what and what? Okay?
Oh, I have something in my throat.
Remind me of that question when you come back to it. Gary?
He's just on my phone.
4 says simplify. That means reduce or make whatever we have to do to make them the same fraction. Let's try another one, just to give it to you from start to finish here. Let's say you have 3 1/2 minus 2 1/6. And it's not going to be too terribly difficult here. First thing I do is write it up and down. 3 1/2 minus 2 1/6. Okay, I can't do anything with those fractions because the bottoms are different. Okay, so I need to make equal fractions from those. And then I need to ask, if I have 2 and 6, what is the least common multiple of 2 and 6? What's the smallest thing that both 2 and 6 will go into? Again, I'm not asking for greatest common factor, that would be 2. I'm asking for what the smallest thing they both go into, Kels. Well, 12 is one of them and would work, but that just means you gotta work harder in the end. There's a smaller one. 6. So I need to see these 6s. I need to see these arrows. 6 times 1 is 6. So 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6. So 3 times 3 is 3. Now I can add them together. 3/6 plus 1/6 is 4/6. I'm sorry, I'm subtracting. My bad. 3/6 minus 1/6 is 2/6. 2 from 3 is 1. And here again, step 4 said to simplify, that's where this comes in. I can't leave 2/6 because it can be made simpler, which is what, Evan? What goes into both of them? 2, so I cut them both in half and I end up with 1/3. Still have a whole number there, 1 and 1/3. Stop me there and ask some questions there, Jacob.
I just noticed on number 3, it's just like add the tops.
Or subtract. Let me give you one for you to try there, because I can tell that you're just chomping at the proverbial bit.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but it sounds pretty good.
It's like we're flying. It sounds like a dog's name. He wants to do something.
2 and 5/8
I don't know.
minus 1 1/2. Go ahead, I will give you, a minute or so to do that. It shouldn't be hard. Write it up and down, change the common denominators, do the subtracting, simplify. Point to me where you did it. A lot of poetry writing here. A lot of poetry writing. You don't have arrows there. You don't have the arrows pointing to what you multiplied to make equal fractions by.
I do.
And it'd be a very, 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 very neatness and accuracy test. Neatness and accuracy. Neatness and accuracy.
There's too much.
What was the smallest thing that those denominators would go into? 8, correct. And you could use 16. 16 will work, just means you'll have to reduce more in the end.
No.
But I should see this. 8. 8. 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 4 is 4. 8 times 1 is 8. 5 times 1 is 5. Now you can do your subtracting. 4 from 5 is 1. And 1 from 2 is 1.
Yes, I got it right. Yay, I got it right.
I got it right here. I got it right.